Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
All right, Susan, thanks very much. Good evening, everyone. It's another edition of the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. We do it nightly, as the show implies, 7 nights a week, 412-575-2600. That's the number of the Bordas and Bordas hotline. You can call it any time and air your opinions. And tonight, a very big win for the Pittsburgh Penguins, especially satisfying, I'm sure, for them, considering how many big-time players have left their lineup on the blue line. I mean, they were down to Zach Troutman coming in. Even the new guy didn't make it here. He's in waivers. So Branson will probably be around on Friday when they go to Buffalo, but he wasn't there tonight. And it was a collectively really good effort by the Penguins, I thought, to limit Columbus to 23 shots on goal in a 5-2 win, and a big one that jumps the Penguins back ahead of Columbus, even though the Blue Jackets have a game in hand. We'll talk about that and much more. Call us, tweet us at KDPump, at Paul Zeiss. Paul Zeiss is here from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, and of course the Paul Zeiss Show on 93.7 The Fan. And this has got to be one of the bigger ones, because I think a lot of people thought after Columbus had made all the additions they made and the all-in mentality, and the Penguins are completely falling apart, and they just lost a game in Philly in which they led with 3 minutes left. This is one of the bigger wins of the year, I would think, for the franchise.
I said all day long they better win this game. They're playing against a team that just basically rebuilt itself. I mean, half these guys on Columbus didn't even know each other's name probably, couldn't looking around the locker room trying to figure out who they were. I mean, to me, this was an absolute game that was there for them to go win, because, you know, Columbus, when you add that many players to your team, it's going to take a couple of games to try and get together. So really, to me, they caught Columbus at the exact right time, and probably, you know, getting them, what are they going to get them twice back-to-back in like another week? You know, they're probably still going to be trying to figure it out, Columbus. I think the one thing about what Columbus did, they're so close to being out of the playoffs, and it's so close to the end of the season. It's risky, because what if it takes them 10 games to figure it out? Like, what if it takes them 10 games to figure out how to play together?
Well, I thought, regardless of all that, the reason they lost tonight, Sergei Bobrovsky continues to stink against the Penguins. And quite frankly, Jared McCann, who I thought played a hell of a game, both of those goals should have been stopped by him. The Malkin goal, quite frankly, he shot from downtown Columbus or maybe Dublin, Ohio, and it got him. Bobrovsky should never play in the postseason against the Penguins if that matchup takes place.
Maybe that's why
one of the reasons why they got Keith.
Maybe that's why they got the guy from New Jersey.
But I honestly thought, I mean, the Penguins were so shorthanded tonight. Columbus had played 2 games with Matt Duchene already, and he seemed pretty comfortable when they beat the Sharks the other night 4-0. So I think this is still a very big win for them, and we'll see now. The schedule gets really crowded in March. They got 16 games in March, almost every other night, and some good competition. Columbus lost. Pittsburgh won. Carolina won again, 6-1. Yes, those bunch of jerks keep on winning.
And Montreal won, too.
Montreal won. So Montreal is still where they are, but now Pittsburgh jumps into third. Columbus jumps out of the playoffs, but they still have a game in hand. So it's going to go right down to the final week.
Yeah, it is. And I'll tell you what makes it even more difficult to create separation is that loser's point.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I don't like it at all, and I think that's a big part of it. I mean, you know, you're going to have games where you should pick up 2 points. You only pick up 1 because, you know, it's in overtime or whatever.
But the tiebreaker is regulation wins, and that's where Carolina has it on the Penguins. And again, Carolina won tonight 6-1 over the LA Kings. Big news in baseball today was Nolan Arenado has agreed to a new 8-year, $260 million deal. For my money, and I know this is not everyone's take, but for mine, I think Nolan Arenado is the best player in baseball. And I say that because he plays one of the most demanding positions. He's a Gold Glove winner there. His numbers, if you look at all the metrics, and some people always hit me back with, well, look, away from Coors Field, look what he does. Well, look what he does. He still has pretty good numbers. Paul, I mean, that's an argument you're going to get from Mookie Betts, from Trout, who's really good at it. But when you play third base at that level, and that's not a position that you normally are going to find Gold Glove, and yet a guy who hits 40 home runs and drives in 135 every year.
If I had the first pick in the draft and could take anybody, I would probably take Mike Trout, but that's just me. I think you can make an argument for a number of guys. Trout, to me, here's the thing, Bob, about Trout that's amazing. What did Arenado get? 8 years, $260?
$32 million a year.
So 8 years, $260 or something in that neighborhood. I mean, and Bryce Harper's getting ready to get what,
Yeah, but
320?
he's not in that neighborhood with those guys.
Well,
I
what
don't
I'm
think
saying, in 320, is he going to get 320? Bryce Harper, Machado just got 300 or something.
Yep.
What is Mike Trout going to get? I think he's a free agent like next year or the year after. What is he going to get?
And he doesn't want to sign with the Anaheim.
No, I mean, if he has 2 more years like he's
don't blame
had,
him.
what is he going to get? 400 million?
Well, he'll do it quietly, unlike a lot of people there. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, he's that good. But I think I like position players in the infield who can do what Nolan Arenado has done. We're due for a break. We'll take it. We'll talk about the Penguins. We'll talk about the Pirates, if you'd like. The Steelers are at the Combine. Rich Walsh is there for KDK TV. He'll talk to Kevin Colbert tomorrow. That's still going on with Antonio Brown. Lots always to talk about right here on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Call us. Your calls are coming up next right here on Pittsburgh CW. The Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call is brought to you by Ireland Contracting, celebrating 25 years as Pittsburgh's #1 home exterior expert in roofing, siding, windows, and gutters, where honesty and integrity